Hey everybody, Will here from 1459 Studios. Today we're going to talk about the iconic sound of the 5150. Alright, so you probably noticed with today's video, the background's a little bit different. We are at the beautiful Fret Central here in Plymouth, Minnesota, not far from 1459 in Minneapolis. I must say that today is a sponsored video by Fret Central. This is a guitar of his. We've got a couple of his amps, and yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful facility, so you're going to want to stop by here at some point if you haven't already. So if you're watching this video, you're probably well aware of the 5150 sound, that iconic Eddie Van Halen Brown sound that's synonymous with everything that that band and that player did. It can do blues, it can do rock, it can do classic rock, it can do hard rock, it can do metal, it can handle all of that. What's maybe not as well known is it's one of the most popular amps for death metal, black metal, thrash metal, low tuning music, stuff like that, simply because they were available at the time. They were everywhere in music shops, people found them, they were affordable, and people would buy them. And that just became the sound of early metal, which then became the sound of modern metal. So one of the big debates I've heard as a guitar player and as a recording guy over, the last 25 years of my life doing this has been, what 5150 amp sounds the best? What is it? Is it the classic block letter? Is it the 6505 USA made version? Is it the Chinese made version? Is it the new EVH brand that Van Halen left PV to start? The answer to that question is really they all sound good. It's just a matter of what kind of tone you're looking for. So the object of this video was to stack them all together on the same cab with the same microphone, using the same guitar, playing the same riffs, so that you can hear them all set exactly the same to be able to find out which one you like the most. Maybe you won't be able to hear a difference. Maybe you won't hear a big enough difference to care about the price tag anymore. That's the goal of this shootout. So all of the amps, all the 5150 amps that have come out over the years are all based on the classic PV block letter amp that Eddie Van Halen built and designed with Hartley PV. That came out in 80 something. I don't remember what the year was. It later evolved into the 5152, and at one point, Eddie decided to leave and form the great company EVH, which makes fantastic guitars and fantastic amplifiers. And PV had a design, Eddie had the name. So Eddie started the EVH amp line of 5153s, and Hartley PV went to the 6505. So next was the American-made 6505 amp, and those have competed for years. And they're both excellent amps, by the way. I own one of each. And then after that, Eddie created the EVH 5150 Iconic shortly before his passing several years ago. That had a couple extra features, couple extra things, but still maintained what he thought was the original sound of the 5150. After Eddie's passing, PV decided to create something along those lines called the 6505-2, which is supposed to mimic the block letter original sound. Now, the marketing and all of that is out there, and people will say this one sounds better or this one sounds better. Let's just have a listen, and you can decide for yourself. All right, let's talk about the signal chain that we got going on for this shootout. We are playing a Paul Reed Smith SE Mark Holcomb signature 7-string guitar. This is plugged into each amp, set exactly the same. All of the resonance, volume, gain structuring is all the same. The EQ is at the classic 666 going on for it. It is going into a EVH Iconic 4x12 speaker, which has the custom Iconic speakers in it. So this is a true shootout between all of the amps, all set exactly the same. So what'd you guys think? A little bit of difference between each amp, obviously. I think what I found most interesting is I could actually hear the difference between each amp, as minute as those differences were. I think it's fair to say that the classic 5150 block letter sounds the best, if you will. I was very impressed with the new PV6505 too. It's really true to that sound. It was very difficult for me to be able to hear the difference between those two. This is my personal 6505, and I've used and recorded that amp a bunch of times and always been very happy with it. And the Iconic was interesting as well. It's got a different tone, but it still maintains what the 5150 does. So they all do what they're supposed to do, and they all do that well, but it goes down to preference and budget. Do you want to go fork out $2,500 for a 5150 original, or will a $700 used 6505 do the trick for you? That's kind of where you're at as a player, so you have to make that decision. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks again to Fret Central for use of the facility. They're located in beautiful Plymouth, Minnesota. I will put links to their website below. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe. Thanks again for watching. Hey everybody, Will here from 1459 Studios. We proudly use and endorse Tone Vault audio cabling and Paul Reed Smith guitars. If you like what you see, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. If you like what you hear, be sure to check out my bands Coffin Rites, Plague of Stars, and Chalice of Suffering.